Hello friends, good morning. Let's start our today's session for the question answer series. The first question is, what is mandatory check for all entries? This is very important question. The answer is, we must have to do the initiality check. That means we must have to check if my internal table on which for all entries we are going to apply, that is blank or not. That means why we need to check, because if it is blank we don't have to go ahead. Okay, we must have to go ahead only when it is filled, some record must be there. Okay, so we must have to do the initiality check if the record is present or not. That is very important. Another question, what are the optional best practices before using the foreign entries? So we can use the delete adjacent duplicates, and we can also and before using the delete adjacent duplicate, we must have to sort the internal table. So these two things we can do. Another question, what if the internal table records is not filled, then what impact will be when we use the formal entries? So this is question related with this only. If we don't perform the initiality check, what can be the impact on the result? So it's a very again important interview question. The answer should be, if suppose internal table is not filled, if it is blank, so we are expecting to have none of the record from the database table, but what it will do, it will get all the records from the database table, though the for all entries internal table is having no records. That's why we must have to perform the mandatory check. So both is related to each other. Now, another question, what is the difference between pass by value and pass by reference? So the answer over here is, pass by value, data access happens by copying the value from one variable to another variable, right? Under the pass by value. In the pass by values, data access happens by passing the reference of one variable to another. Reference means address. Okay. Now, the second difference with respect to subroutine, changing the value in formal parameter will not reflect back into the actual parameter. So if you take the example of subroutine or even the function module, if we are going to change the value in formal parameters, right, that will not reflect back into the actual parameters. Actual parameters means the parameter where in the program from where the function module or subroutine is getting called. Okay, so the calling place parameter is the actual parameter, and the formal parameter means the function module parameter or subroutine parameter. Okay, now with respect to subroutine, changing the value in formal parameter will deflect back into the actual parameter. That's the meaning of pass by reference. So if you change the value in the formal parameter, automatically it will reflect into the actual parameter as well in case of pass by reference, because you are referencing to the memory area. You are not if you are not copying the value. In case here, in case of pass by value, changing at one place, it will not reflect into another place. That means changing in the formal parameter will not reflect back into the, right, will not reflect back into the what, into the formal parameters. Now the question over here is, what is function group, right? The question over here is, what is function group? Okay, so in detail I have discussed in another slides, but here also let me show you. The function group is nothing but the set of the group of function modules, right? Function group is nothing but group of function module. It is having its own specification, like all the function modules is having one master program in which this function module will be there in form of includes, and whenever a single function module is going to be loaded, the complete function group will be loaded into the program. Whenever a single function module will be called, the complete function group means the top of the function group will be loaded in the program, not this function module. Suppose your function module 1 is going to be called, then the global data declaration part of the function group will be loaded. Okay, this will not be loaded, but the complete function group, uh, the global data part will be loaded. Okay, now come over here. And what is RFC function module? So RFC function module is nothing but this is basically a FM, normal FM only, but only it can be called from the outside of the current system. So the RFC FM means in case of RFC FM, the RFC FM can be called from the outside of the SAP current SAP system. That's the diagram. Here also you can see one SAP system we are having. So one SAP system can communicate with another SAP system. It can communicate with .NET, Java. It can communicate with another SAP again. The same system can be communicate with the SAP system or non-SAP system if the FM is RFC FM. Okay. Another question over here, what is function module in SAP? So function module is one of the most popular modularization technique in SAP. SAP has created many standard function module and we directly use it without understanding actual implementation process. Okay, that's the benefit. You can directly reuse the function module. We don't have to understand what inside the function module has been written, right? It's like a API, correct? All the function modules must require a function group. That's fine. Without a function group, you will not be able to create any function module. What is function group? Just we have seen, it is a collection of function modules which governs the function module source code, right? All the function group is having a master program associated with it. That master program contains all the function modules in forms of includes, and whenever a function module is called, complete function group global data part will be loaded into the memory. Okay, another question, what are the extra steps that normal FM need to be taken while creating the RFC? Means when you create the RFC FM, what steps extra we have to take? So remote enabled option we have to select from the attribute part under the attribute tab. And the second thing, all the parameters must be passed by value only. Passed by reference is not allowed. So these two things we'll have to consider whenever we are going to create the RFC FM. Okay, so this is also a very important. This need to be remembered. Another thing, what is update function module? Very interesting. So update function module is the type of function module which is used to achieve the SAP LUW. So actually function module has been divided into three parts. Okay, function module has been divided into three parts. One is the normal FM, another is the RFC FM, and third is the update function module. Okay, so this is the update function module. Again, update function module has been divided into different parts that we will be looking into. Okay, one by one. Here you just see this uh, definition. Just see this answer. What is the update FM? So update function module is the type of FM which is used to achieve the SAP LUW. LUW is nothing but either all or none, and to achieve the performance. So it helps in both achieving the SAP LUW concept and achieving the performance. So if you want to understand more about the update function module in detail and all these function modules in detail, you can just look into my YouTube channel, or you can just search with the Pankaj Update FM. Okay, Pankaj SAP ABAP update function module. You will be able to see a list of videos, around 5 or 6 videos over there, and in detail I have discussed about all types of FM. Okay. Now another question over here is, what is the different types of function module and what are the differences between them? Okay, so this FM is there. Normal function module, it can be called inside a system only, right? Here pass by value plus pass by reference, both is fine, both is allowed in the normal function module. Another function module, we are having the RFC function module. Under the RFC function module, you can call from same system or another, or from another system, both is possible, right? You can call from same system or from another system, both is possible. Okay, in RFC function module, you can only have pass by value. Pass by reference is not allowed in the RFC FM. right? Then in the same system, if you are going to add the destination, right, here the thing is what I'm trying to tell it. Suppose if you want to call the RFC FM locally in the different session, then what you will have to do, you have in the same system, if you want to call in a different system this RFC FM, you have to add the destination none over there. Okay, you'll have to add the destination none over there. Okay. Okay, yeah, so actually this third and fourth should be together. By mistake I have done this one. Let me put it. So this is the thing actually. So here now it is complete. So in the same system, if you are going to add the destination none while calling the RFC, then it will be called in a separate session. So sometimes we come across such a requirement. Okay, so it's a very important concept. Now update FM. This is generally used to update the database record, right? Update FM. Update FM can be called from the same system. Not sure about the different system. I'm sure about the from the different system you will not be able to use. Okay, you have to use the background RFC concept if you want to achieve the SAP LUW concept. If you want to achieve the asynchronous update, in that case you will have to use the TRFC concept, means the background RFC concept you will have to use. So background RFC or TRFC, both is same. TRFC and the QRFC, all these are. So TRFC, this video on TRFC and QRFC already I have created in detail. You can just go and check it. You will be able to understand the concept of TRFC and QRFC. So update FM can be called from the same system. Another, this is used to achieve generally the SAP LUW, right? That's perfect. Sometimes we use from performance perspective also. So both kind of things is achieved. And when the update FM gets triggered, very important interview question. Very important interview question. When the update function module gets triggered, so when the commit works come into the picture, whenever the commit works gets executed, update function module gets triggered. Okay, now another question. See here, when update function module gets triggered, very important question. Remember this one, when the commit work, VVI interview question. Okay, on commit work. Another question, if the update function module gets failed, under which transaction we can see that? Again, this is again one important interview question. Under which transaction you can monitor how your update function module has behaved, or if it got failed or if it is successful. The transaction is SM13. Okay, which transaction? SM13 transaction. Remember this one. Now what is the syntax for update function module? So for update function module, the syntax is called FM in update task. So you'll have to remember in update task, this edition actually in update task. So when you have to call the function module, update function module, you must have to specify in update task. Okay, and your function module must be the update function module. All right, under the attribute tab, you will having the option to select the update function module. Okay, so here you can see that asynchronously gets called whenever you call the update function module. Now another question, will the update function module gets triggered asynchronously or synchronously when it is called? Asynchronously, that means in parallel, right? For what purpose generally we use the update function module? We have seen as for SAPW and for the performance improvement. Fine. Now, when more than one update function modules are there, where is it stored and what sequence in it is triggered, right? So when you have more than one update function module, it will be stored in a update queue, and the sequence in which it is registered and based on their priority. Okay, so in update queue, and it gets triggered in the sequence and based on priority. Based It gets triggered in the sequence in which it is registered, and the and 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 the priority of the update function module, means the It depends on the type of the function module. Priority of the update function module decided by the type of the update function module. So there are different types of update function module. Type of the update FM. There are different types of update FM we are having. Based upon that, priority gets decided. Okay, so another question we'll see that. What are the different types of update function module? This is the question. And what are the differences? You can see there are basically three types of update function module. One is the V1 update, another is the V2 update, and the third one is the collective run, or okay. See, under the V1 update, again we are having two types: updatable V1 and non-updatable V1. Okay, there are two types. So V1 update is the very critical one. It is very important one. So if you have a multiple update function module, V1 update takes priority over that. V2 update is having the less priority than the V1 update, and the collective run, even it is having the lesser priority than all these things. Actually, it gets runs using the this particular program RSM 13005. So collective run function module, update function module will be stored in the update queue, and it's going to run only when this RSM 13005 program is going to run. So this program need to be scheduled in the background so that all the collective run function module will keep on executing on certain interval. So in detail, I have discussed in the video. You can go and check update function module video. Fine. Now another question over here, what is collective run update function module, right? So just I will read it out, whatever I have discussed, the same thing it is here, right? So with the help of this program, actually this collective run update function module runs, and it will be there in the system memory or in the update queue, and when this program is going to run, it's going to execute. But what is the use of this collective run function module? So see here, so to perform the things in one go, actually we use the collective run function module. Okay, so I'm just going to read it out. Beside V1 and V2 function modules, there are also collective run function modules. Unlike V1 and V2, these function modules are not updated automatically. It requires a program. What is that program? RSM 13005. This program actually uh, you know run that, execute that collective run function module. They are only updated if report RSM 13005 starts the update. Then all the calls for the function modules are collected, compressed, and updated at one time. Collective runs are handled like V2 update modules. Okay. Example: A function modules increases a statical entry by one. Suppose a function module is increasing a statical entry by one, right? It is called 10 times during the transaction. The same function module is going to be called 10 times to increase one counter. Okay, because it has to be 10. If you implement the collective run of V2 function module, the function module is updated 10 times, written to the database 10 times after the V1 update is complete. If you classify this as a collective run, what will happen that in one go it will update from 1 to 10. That's the beauty of collective function module. Fine. One important thing over here, I just forgot to discuss, this V1 update is of two types. One is the updatable V1 and another is non-updatable V1. What is the difference between updatable V1 and non-updatable V1? So the difference between this is actually, if you go into the SM13 transaction where you can see this V1 update, so if you have selected the V1 updatable, you will be able to re-execute, you will be able to update from the SM13 transaction. If you have selected the non-updatable type of this V1 update, you will not be able to you will not be able to update from SM13 transaction. That's the difference between this. Okay, fine. Now one very good example over here from below diagram, your interviewer may tell, see all these questions, whatever we are discussing this question, generally from fresher point of view, it is not important. Okay, but from the architect point of view, suppose if we're going to give the interview for the architect position, this kind of question can be useful. Okay, such kind of question can be useful. Or if you are going to give the interview or 7 years or 8 years of experience, like that, this such kind of question can be asked. Okay, so from the Accenture or from the IBM, people ask such kind of question from 7 or 8 years of experience, people like that. Even from the 5 years of experience, also it can be asked. Okay, fine then. From below diagram, show that the sequence of update function module execution. Here you can see that V2 here I have used this call function module in update task. Here we are having call function module in update task, then call function module in update task, call function module in update task. So you can see that the different type of update function module I have called, you have to determine the sequence. Okay, so the first function module here is start delayed. That means it is the V2, V2, this one. The second type V2 update less critical. So the second, this function module I have created in my system, and there, from there I have taken this screenshot and all. So ZMB28 update FM start delay. This is the V2 update. This is the V2 update function module. The second one is the V1 update function module. Third one is again V1 update function module. Fourth one is again V1 update. Fifth one is again V1 update. Sixth one is simply, the collective. This is the collective function, collective update function module. And the seventh one is the over here the VT V2 update function module. In this sequence in a program, a function module, the update function module has been called. Now, in what execution, when the commit work comes into the picture, when commit works gets executed, in which sequence this function module will get executed? So this answer will have to give. So as we understood that the second, this V1 update is the most critical. So the first two will be executed, then three will be executed, then four, five, right? And the six is the collective one. This is going to have the last preference, right? After that, this V2 first over here, one will come, and the V2 7 over here, the last, the 7 will come, and the 6 will be at last, right? So in this sequence, the same. One more question over here. Suppose this is the V2 update function module, this is the V1 update function module, and again the third one is the V1 update, and this is the last one is the collective one. So in which sequence it will get executed? So first this V1 will be executed, then this V1, then this V2, and then this last. So that's the sequence 2, 3, 1, and this last. This is how it's going to get executed. So with this, we'll stop our today's interview questions answer. Please feel share to your friends, colleagues, so that I will get more subscriber. And when my subscriber counts gets increased, I feel happy. And if I get the comment also, I feel very happy, and I get more motivation to prepare the video. So please like and subscribe. Thank you very much for your watching the video. If any specific requirement, if you want me to prepare the videos on any specific topic, or if you are looking for the detailed SAP ABAP or ABAP on HANA or OPS ABAP or cross apps training, right? Please let me know. I provide that will be paid training, but I provide that one. You can just contact me on my the phone number is given over here. Here you can just contact, or you can just email me over here. So thanks once again for watching. Thanks. Bye bye. Bye bye. Happy Gandhi Jayanti also.